Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni is in Lebanon to meet her counterpart, Lebanese Prime Minister Najib Mikati. He was waiting on the tarmac at Beirut airport for her, but there was a bit of a faux pas. Let's take a look. Now, Mr. Mikati thought he was greeting Giorgia Meloni, but he instead greeted her personal assistant with a kiss on each cheek, as he apparently thought she was the Italian Prime Minister. Now, he was quickly told that it is, in fact, wasn't Giorgia Meloni, but this is her walking down the steps of the plane. Prime Minister Meloni herself there. She looks like it was a second time lucky and the faux pas was glossed over, so no harm done in the end. Always awkward when you a case of mistaken identity there.
The UK will almost double the amount of aid it gives to Sudan, delivering a package worth £89 million in the next financial year. The nearly one-year war has created the biggest displacement disaster in the world. The UN is warning of the risk of famine. A man's been arrested in connection with the death of Gogglebox star George Gilby after the 40-year-old died following a fall at work. A spokesperson for Essex Police said a man in his 40s is in custody on suspicion of gross negligence manslaughter. 3 prisoners and 3 staff from Lewes Prison in East Sussex have been taken to hospital for suspected food poisoning. It's understood a number of people became ill after eating a curry served at the end of a Maundy Thursday service. Now, from the big cats to the great apes, the David Attenborough's new series is looking at the way animals are adapting to the challenges of climate change.
Yes, it's 20 years on from his Life of Mammals documentary, and now researchers are discovering the problems faced by different species in a rapidly changing world.
There were fears for the future of dachshunds, also known as sausage dogs in Germany this week, after the country's biggest-selling newspaper reported that the breed could be banned. Now, panic was sparked by a draft law aiming to clamp down on animal suffering. However, a spokesperson for Germany's agriculture ministry says no breeds will be banned outright. Instead, the law will try to reduce pain and suffering for animals with health complications.
Visitors to Epping Forest are being asked not to pick or trample on bluebells in order to protect and preserve the wildflowers for future generations. For a few weeks each spring, Chalet Wood in Wanstead Park is transformed by a carpet of bluebells, attracting a growing number of visitors each year. Bluebells are protected under the Wildlife and Countryside Act. It's against the law to intentionally pick, uproot or destroy them.
Earlier this week, actor and comedian Sally Phillips posted on social media to say that her son Ollie had been prevented from entering a local trampoline park simply because he has Down syndrome.
Well, Sally was told by staff at the Oxygen Free Jump that Ollie needed a GP's certificate to take part, despite him having used the centre many times before. Well, she told her followers the irony is that Ollie, who is the proud owner of the most enthusiastic bouncer certificate from his primary school, has been hundreds of times with an ordinary parental waiver.
Now, soon, many other parents of children with Down syndrome were applying, and they were showing support and sharing similar stories.
Alongside his sketch, it's clear Brian has, just like the Joker, left smiles in his wake, though perhaps not quite so terrifying. Harry Parkhill, BBC News.
What are you typing?
I'm work. Doing work.
Sending an email, writing a book.
That's the reason. What's wrong with you? Mocking me typing. It's 6:22 and it started already. Let's take a look at some of today's papers, shall we? The Guardian says that famine in Gaza is setting in. This is according to a new United Nations report. It illustrates the article with a photograph of refugees in Gaza City who are desperately reaching out for food and water. Save lives for Martin is the Mirror headline about a government report which is set to recommend tough new rules to improve security at entertainment venues. Martin Hett was killed in the Manchester Arena bombing. It was his mum, Fegan Murray, who campaigned for the new regulations.
The Eye leads on Thames water bosses, warning that customers could see their bills go up by 40% by 2030 because of its high levels of debt. The firm's financial woes have raised the prospect of the government taking it into public ownership at a cost of billions to the taxpayer.
And the Telegraph has a weather picture, but perhaps not one you were expecting to see at the start of Easter weekend. Although Matt may dispute this. Matt may dispute this because we were saying yesterday that we do get snow in March.
Yeah, we just think that spring
is sprung.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's still March.
Anyway, this young boy was delighted, I think, sledging on Dartmoor yesterday. The Stone of Destiny's new setting has been unveiled. Oh, I thought that was part of that story. I don't know what this story is.
This is the Stone of Destiny. The new Stone of Destiny's location has been unveiled because, you may know, it's the ancient symbol of Scotland's monarchy. It's been moved from Edinburgh to here. This is the newly refurbished Perth Museum. And that's important because it takes it much closer to its original home of Sudan.
What does the Stone of Destiny do, then?
Wasn't it... Oh, now you've put me on the spot. It was to do with...
Well, I might type and find out, but will you mock me for it?
It went underneath the throne. That's where it went.
Let me see if I can find out.
But then it was very disputed.
Huh?
Yeah, it was... There we go. Have you found it?
I have found it. It's the ancient symbol of Scotland's monarchy, seized by King Edward I of England in the late 13th century, remained in England for 700 years, returned to Scotland in 1996. But why is it called the Stone of Destiny? What does it do?
Well, shall we do this another time and then update people rather than trying to work it out live on the telly?
Well, all right.
Shall we figure it out while we get the news, travel and weather where everyone else is watching this morning?
Are we going there yet? I thought we were going to look at some inside pages.
Oh, we can do that too if you want.
Go on, what you got?
There's been a study. The University of Innsbruck in Austria has looked at the pop lyrics... well, the lyrics, actually, of pop, rock, rap, country and R&B songs. And they've looked at how these songs are made, put together, including the number of verses, how often the chorus is repeated, how many different words are used, different types of rhyme, to work out what it tells us about how songs are made over the last 50 years. And ultimately, they've discovered that actually songs are angrier, gloomier and simpler than they were 50 years ago. And I wonder how much that is down to technology. About you just want something really catchy, really poppy, really easy to listen to because of streaming rather than discovering kind of things further down an album. Because who listens to a full album all the way through? Do you?
Yeah.
Do you...
And I listen to it in the order of the songs, because I think that's how it's been curated and it's really important. And it might be a very old-fashioned thing, but...
But I wonder, to the point here, is our album still curated in the same way? To be listened to from start to finish?
Yes.
You think?
Yes.
Yeah, OK.
I do.
Very confident.
I want to tell you a story about a little magpie and a dog.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, so I'm going to take you to Australia, and there was a magpie that... I think Molly, Molly is a male magpie. Now, Molly was rescued when Molly was a chick. I don't know why Molly's called Molly, but OK, it's all fine. So Molly was rescued when it was a chick, and 3 years ago, and was nursed to health. And the family which rescued Molly had a dog. And Molly and the dog became really good friends. And as is wont in this day and age, they popped this little story of the magpie and the dog being friends and, you know, having a lovely life together. Anyway, authorities in Australia, these wildlife officers, 700,000 Instagram followers, by the way. It's the Staffordshire Bull Terrier and the magpie.
Oh, and they put them on social media?
Yes. Right. So, they were documenting their time. They slept together, they played together, la-di-da. Anyway, animal welfare experts have weighed in, saying that the magpie, has been surrendered to wildlife officials, saying that it was illegal to keep him, saying that it's a wild animal, and so it was too tame, and they've taken it away, taken the magpie away.
So they've separated them?
Yeah, Molly and Peggy no longer together.
But
they might get back
together. Been back?
It's a big row.
Big breakup. Gosh.
Prophetic. It's time to get the news, travel and weather where you are.